Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and today it's Friday in the afternoon, and I figured I'd go live. So hit the thumbs up as you enter the chat. And today, I want to do something a little different. And what it is I want to do is I kind of want to just go down memory lane, talk about the neighborhood, and just boxing and combat in general, and how it kind of how it piqued my interest and how it all started. All right, so back in like 1987, I was 7 years old, so I probably was in like the first or second grade, and my pops, he's like, "Hey son, we about to take a ride." So we head over to Lincoln Heights, Ohio, small suburb uh, north of downtown Cincinnati, and we go to my late uncle William Price house, my great uncle. This is my grandmother's brother, and so we get over to my uncle William's house, and on TV, my uncle had on the Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks. So as a 7 year old young boy, I could just remember seeing Mike Tyson make quick work of Michael Spinks in the first round, and since that day, that was one of the biggest reasons why I had became a fan of boxing. My very first fight that I saw that was um, that was live timing. You know what I'm saying? Like me actually being 7 years old in the moment of watching it, and that's why I'm a Mike Tyson fan to this day, the way I am, because he was the first boxer I saw in real time. Now, just to like add more context to what I'm talking about, so um, later on throughout the years, my dad would tell me about my grandfather, and he was in the military, in the Navy, and he used to actually box in the military. So when he came home from the military, which would have been probably like in the 1950s, he had a power bag, a boxing power bag, and he hung it from the peach tree. And the neighborhood kids from Lincoln Heights, because at that time my grandmother was down the hill, what we call down the hill. If you're from Lincoln Heights, you know what I'm talking about. So grandma lived down the hill. We call her G-Ma. G-Ma lived down the hill, and at that house that my dad was raised in, and his siblings, is where my grandfather would show neighborhood kids in the community how to throw punches, and how to hit the power bag in the yard. Um, so that's another big part of why I'm a huge fan of boxing. It was just, I guess, it was just there. You know what I'm saying? It was just there. And around 1989, no, actually, maybe it's 87, the same year that I saw Mike Tyson in Spinks. I had me and my two older brothers. We got enrolled in martial arts, under the under our instructor, our sensei, Master Price. So this was the old Woodlawn Recreation Center, and upstairs you had the game room. So you could play Miss Pac-Man, Atari games, and old school games. I think it had a pool table upstairs, if I remember correctly. But in the basement was the dojo, and that's where we learned how to do our martial arts. I remember starting in as a white belt, and eventually I got an orange belt, and then it went from like I think orange to yellow. So me and my two older brothers, our neighbor from across the street, shout outs to Maceo, aka Spark. We were all in that same martial arts class. Tony Stinson, um, and John Turan. John Turan. So we had a cool little martial arts class back in the day. So that's kind of all intertwines on why I like combat sports and why I like boxing. Um, Now, as far as like growing up, you know what I'm saying, in Woodlawn, I remember many a times, um, and I'm 40. I'll be 46 in January, so I'm older, I'm mature, you know what I'm saying, all that. But back in them days when you were young, it didn't take much for you if you felt like it was a situation, you would settle that situation with ease. So there was a couple guys from the neighborhood, some originally from Woodlawn, some came from the city and moved out to Woodlawn. Um, and sometimes it ended up in being a fight, in a fist fight. So after we get off the school bus, you know, we gonna throw them hands. And that bus, that Princeton school bus back then was bus 30. So there's a couple guys from the neighborhood that I had to, throw hands with. I didn't win them all. I didn't lose them all, But it's like that old saying they say, you live to fight another day. Um, so it wasn't until later on, probably like middle school, junior high, then, the drugs hit the community. So then, like, a lot of close friends that I went to school with, that I grew up with from over in Lincoln Heights, which was like the next community over, lost quite a bit of friends, you know, that were caught up in the streets, man. And now to move up to date, 2025, rolling into 2026 around the corner. The message is, um, like Michael Jackson said, heal the world, make it a better place, right? So we need to, these young kids have to put down these guns throughout the community, throughout the city, throughout the nation, over here in America, and wherever you're from around this world. I'm pretty sure in Africa, uh, in different parts of Europe, different parts all around the world, there's a there's a violence issue. Um, and what I would like is to hope one day that that the gun violence and knife violence is not something that we see so much. You know what I mean? That the way that we see it all the time. When you turn on the news, I don't even really watch the news, but even if I'm on like social media, everything is going down our feed. You know what I'm saying? This happened to this person. This person was shot, or whatever. It's just like, man, it's got to be a better way. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this message will reach out to the youth, and hopefully somebody takes it and they'll pass it along. And I also want to say shout out to my cousin, my big cousin, Shorty P, Shorty Price, because he's doing very, very good. He started his own podcast, so check him out. And he's taking other people who were incarcerated, and they're telling their story of going into prisons, coming out to prison, and how they went about adapting, life after prison, how they got motivation, or some of them may have took up certain trades or skills while they were incarcerated. So it's all about just, if you find yourself in an unfortunate circumstance, thing is you want to learn from that lesson. You don't want to go down the same road again. If it's a road that ended you up in a bad position, you don't want to go down the road again. But yeah, as far as the neighborhood, man, shout outs to Big Tree, Big Kiki, who has some people from the neighborhood of Lincoln Heights that you know, he motivates them, inspires them, and they do their boxing. Michael Dawson, Zone 15, shout outs to you. Um, Training and having all these different kids and giving them some type of sense of belonging and a brotherhood when they get in the boxing gyms and stuff like that. I think it's a beautiful thing. So shout outs to every trainer across the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, USA. Shout outs to Nate Tubbs. Shout outs to Tony Tubbs, his brother. Shout outs to Aaron Pryor Sr., rest in peace. Aaron Pryor Jr., the late great Ezra Charles, the Cincinnati Cobra. All the greats that came from Cincinnati that built a foundation in the sport of boxing. Adrian Broner from the West Side Stand Up, E-Dub, English Woods. Shout outs to AB. What's good, Cuzzo? What's good, Cam J? Thanks for stopping through, man. Um, Shout outs to all them guys, Some of the ones that got the bigger names in the city and some who are still from the city, they deserve the credit too. Rashi Warren, shout out to him. Rave, shout out to him. Like I say, every boxing gym from down the way to Elmwood to Norwood, wherever these gyms are, we want to salute the people here from Cincinnati, 513, Ohio. And we must shout out my little cuzzo, P3, and his dad, P30. Zone 15 stand up for sure. Shout outs to them doing their thing. P3 has been doing his thing for sure. I was able to witness him at an event at Mount Healthy High School here in Cincinnati, and it felt good to see him get the dub, get the win, and then, right back into training hard, doing his thing, and on to the next, only being 9 years old, you know what I'm saying? So he started young, and we salute him, and we support him for sure. Shout outs to Ohio Runs Boxing, Marcus. Shout outs to Cam J Network, 513. Shout out to my dude over in Boston, Ray Trilogy. Shout outs to you. Shout out to Big Matt from Brooklyn, New York, Brunch Boxing. I just want to shout out and show love to all the people that are doing something for the boxing in the sport that we love. And we got to shout out Abdullah Mason up north in Cleveland. He's going to bring it back here to Ohio. He's going to do his thing tomorrow. So, Abdullah Mason, do your thing, brother. Do your thing for sure. It's gonna be going down tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm gonna actually do like a reaction video along during the event. So tap in here at Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I will definitely do a watch along and then recap on Sunday. Now, before tomorrow rolls around, I want to know what y'all thoughts, man. David Benavidez, 174 pound, 174.3 pounds. His opponent, Anthony Yarde, the Beast from the East, 173.9 pounds. Hey, man, we're going to have a good fight with this one. And I'm going to just stick to what I said from the get-go. I feel like if Yarde's going to have to make a statement early and try to go for a stoppage early. Not force a stoppage, but maybe like round 4, round 5. Because I think as the rounds go deeper, if it gets to round 8, round 9, David Benavidez is going to turn up. And I feel like Anthony Yarde is going to start to decline as far as his output of punches. He's going to start to feel that fatigue. And Benavidez is not the type of guy that really slows down. You know what I'm saying? He's like an Energizer bunny. You know, he's going to keep going. And that's going to be a huge issue, in my opinion, for Anthony Yarde. So hopefully he's conditioned for all 12 rounds, if it even goes that long. Because a lot of people feel like Benavidez is going to step on Anthony Yarde. And then we got Bam Bam, 114.6 pounds. His opponent, Fernando Martinez, 113.12 pounds. So tomorrow's going to be a very, very, a very lit card, and I'm looking forward to it. And to me, the highlight of that card, because the blood is more bad. Like David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde, they're kind of cordial with each other. But when it comes to Brian Norman, B. Norm, and Devin Haney, it's that real intensity because you can sense the bad blood. So we got Devin Haney weighing in 146 pounds, 146.6 pounds, and B. Norm Jr., 146.12 pounds. Man, that's the fight that I just can't wait to see. Because I think B. Norm is going to really surprise people. I think that people think B. Norm is just going to be some type of dude looking for a knockout punch, like a Deontay Wilder, you know, in there, like, okay, I'm going to land this one big punch and he's going to be laid out. Nah, man. Brian Norman actually has skills. Brian normally actually has decent footwork. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he has better footwork than Devin Haney, but he's not a slouch. He's not a plotter. So I think it's going to really be an eye-opener for Devin Haney. It's going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people who think that how Haney says he's levels above Brian Norman Jr. I think tomorrow we're going to see that he's not levels above like he thinks he is. And he better be very, very cautious because, you know, people feel like Ryan's somewhat susceptible to a left hook. But Brian Norman has more than that in his arsenal. It ain't going to just be a left hook that he needs to worry about. It's going to be other things that Devin Haney and his corner should be worried about. And tomorrow we're gonna see all that unravel, man. I just can't wait, man, because I think Brian Norman Jr. is gonna definitely bring something that's gonna be, like I say, it's gonna be an eye opener. It's gonna be like, whoa, he can do this. You know, we just thought he was like this. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's gonna really show people the type of skill set that he has and the type of weapons he has in his toolbox. Um, you know, they gonna see for sure, man. Um, Now another fight that I would say I'm just as intrigued about is Abdullah Mesa versus Sam Noakes. Of course, being from Ohio, Cincinnati, and of course Cam J knows that. And shout outs to Marcus up north. We are fans of Abdullah Mason. We are fans of Ohio as a whole state. Sam Noakes is powerful. He is strong. But I think the power and the strength of Sam Noakes can be negated through the boxing mind of Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason has a boxing brain. Although he's young, he has a very meticulous and a certain style to where he can be a finisher, but he can really, really box. Abdullah Mason, I think, is going to show people tomorrow just how good of a boxer he really is. And his power. I think his power. I think Abdullah Mason's power is overlooked. I think people are going to see that he can hit. I think Sam Noakes is going to be on the receiving end of those punches. He's going to see that Abdullah Mason can hit. That y'all looking at him like he's a kind of like maybe like a Shakur Stevenson or a Devin Haney, where he's kind of like pot shotting punches. Nah. Abdullah Mason, he got power in those punches. He might not be on one punch like a Tank Davis knockout artist or whatever, but Abdullah Mason, accumulation and his accuracy, he could put you down. And I think Sam Noakes may be in for a rude awakening tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to this card. Man, it's gonna be nice for sure. It's gonna definitely be lit. And just in a few other things pertaining to boxing. Is Ryan Garcia scheduled to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title February 21st, beginning of next year. Now, I saw the interview, and I want to say Cam J, excuse me, Cam J had posted this article in the group chat, about the interview with Conor Benn. So Conor Benn is, he kind of was talking about Mario Barrios having the belt and the fact he would want the belt, but also you kind of got the fact that Ryan Garcia is the bigger name. He's the bigger draw. So if you weigh out the options, I want to know y'all opinion. If you were Conor Benn, would you be more concerned about trying to get the WBC belt from Barrios? I'm just saying hypothetically. Or would you be more concerned about fighting Ryan Garcia? Although this fight is pretty much locked in, so I'm guessing the winner is who, the winner of Barrios versus Garcia would be the person that Conor Benn is going to fight. Conor Benn, he's done his thing. It's time for him to start really testing these waters out here. So he's going to have to start fighting the guys on our side over here in America to see what his true level really is at. Also, Daniel Dubois he withdrew from the world title eliminator against Frank Sanchez, and that's not a duck tactic, but I think that's just the Frank Warren and them being smart enough to see that, hey, if he can get Dubois a shot with um, the guy that just stopped Parker, Fabio Wardley. If you can get Fabio Wardley, um, that would be an opportunity for Daniel Dubois, which I kind of get that, but in the same aspect, I don't feel like Daniel Dubois is ready for that type of level. I do not think he's ready for Fabio Wardley. I don't even think he's ready for Joseph Parker. You know, Dubois would look good fighting somebody. I'm trying to think who would be a good opponent for him right now. Because with AJ fighting next month with Jake Paul, it would be good to see Dubois and AJ rematch. But in the meantime, if Dubois needed a little fight in between, I'm just trying to think who's a good opponent for Daniel Dubois right now. Because I don't think he's ready for the Fabio Wardley or anybody at the top right now. And I think a lot of it is psychologically with Daniel Dubois. I mean, the way that Usyk did him, it was nasty. It was nasty. And speaking of Anthony Yarde, he has a quote here. I need to be a world champion. I will be a world champion. What do y'all think about that? Will he? I don't. I always did like Anthony Yarde, but he's very inconsistent. He just he's just not consistent. He's kind of like Teofimo Lopez. Sometimes you look good, sometimes you don't. And to me, if you look at Anthony Yarde and David Benavidez, between the two, he's the more consistent. And tomorrow I can't see it being any different. I feel like David Benavidez will be more consistent, and with the type of mentality that he has, and all the goals he wants to attain, I think we're going to get a victory by David Benavidez, either by decision or late stoppage. And then Tim Tszyu, he's coming back. I'm not too privy to his opponent, Velasquez, but they're going to be fighting in Sydney, Australia, I believe, on December the 17th. So Tim Tszyu is trying to he's trying to keep his name out there and I guess redeem himself from his last performance. And with January 31st, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. That's going to be another one to look forward to. And the only thing, like one of my guys was telling me, Teofimo could potentially beat Shakur Stevenson, but he has to have. He can't. What's the term he used? He can't be in his own mind. If Teofimo is in his own mind, he will lose. But if you can get to Teofimo, they came in there against Lomachenko. That version of Teofimo Lopez can beat Shakur Stevenson. That's just my opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Somebody else might look at it different. Some people feel like it's levels and that Shakur is levels above Teofimo Lopez. I don't see it that way necessarily. Another fight in January on the 24th is Jermaine Franklin and Moses Ntuma. I like that matchup. And make no mistake about it, Ntuma may win, but he's not going to just walk through Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin has not been knocked down as a pro. He was not knocked down when he fought Dillian White or Anthony Joshua. His chin has been tested. I think the youth of Ntuma and the fact that he's a southpaw is going to give issues to Franklin. But Franklin has a chin. Franklin has a lot of heart too. So he has a lot of will. So he's not going to just roll over. But I want to know y'all opinion. Ntuma versus Jermaine Franklin. And another fight I'm looking forward to is Lamont Rose Jr. and Pitbull Cruz. Lamont Rose Jr., Pitbull Cruz. How do y'all see that going? Oh, KMJ, I just read that. I couldn't read it until now because I was so far back. I'm looking for my other phone. You said I'm sideways. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can fix that. It's an iPhone, man. You know, I told you, KMJ, I am not tech savvy, man. I'm up here sideways and I'm trying to figure out how do I. Man, this is an iPhone, so excuse me for a second, fellas. See if I can get this right. All right. So, all right. Hey, shout outs to uh, Jadis Live. You said Marcus just landed in Saudi Arabia. That's what's up. I'm happy he had a safe commute. He said Ohio taking over Saudi. Yes, sir. Yeah, DB, man, for sure. For sure, Cam J. Yeah, man, he's thumping, man. Like you said, Cam J, he's definitely thumping. I think people need to understand Abdullah can hit, man. But they gonna see tomorrow. They shall see. Hey, what's going on, Rihanna Thompson? You said Tim moving up to 160. Okay, okay. Hey, Cam J, you said bring your pillow for January 31st. Amen. uh, you said King Rye versus Mario Barrios February 21st. Yes, sir. Let's get it. Cam J, you said Entuma packing Franklin up in less than 4. You said Franklin shouldn't even have this fight with Entuma. Man, we gonna see though. What about Cam J? What about uh Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach Jr.? How do you see that one going? And kind of back to the community. Like I said, I was down in Lachlan earlier. So shout out to all the young guys that was out there, to the fam and the homies out there that subscribed to Ring Walk Boxing Podcast today. I want to say I really appreciate y'all doing what y'all did for me. Um, that was major. To sit back and kind of chop it up with people face to face down there, and so yeah, shout outs to Zone 15, Ground Zero, Lachlan. Shout outs to my peoples down there. J5, Cuzzo. Shout outs to J5. All right, y'all. I ain't gonna be on here a lot longer tonight because tomorrow it's gonna be a long podcast tomorrow because, like I said, I'm gonna be going doing the reactions to it. So um, I will see y'all tomorrow. Please leave your predictions or your thoughts in the chat or in the comments about the different topics we talked about. Um, Benavidez versus Yardy. Excuse me, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. Entoma versus Franklin. Pitbull versus Cruz. Uh, Ryan Garcia versus Barrios. Your opinion on that? Tafime versus Shakur Stevenson. What's your opinion or predictions on that? What is your predictions on Abdullah Mason, Ohio stand up versus Sam Noakes? Um, and what's your prediction? Um, for for Bam Bam Rodriguez fight. Is he gonna beat Fernando Martinez? Let me know. So as always, y'all, I appreciate y'all stopping through and pulling up here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. Um, like that old cliche, good deeds don't go unnoticed. In the description area down there in the YouTube, we have the link tree. I have the link tree on my FB, on my IG, so you can check out the little merch and stuff, the hats, hoodies, and shirts. And we have a donation area. Um, so if you want to donate and help support our channel here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast, it doesn't matter. It's whatever a person chooses to do. It's a blessing, and it's It's much appreciated. So y'all have a safe Friday, and I will see y'all tomorrow here at Ringwalk Boxing Podcast for the card over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So be safe, and I'll catch y'all on the next round. Peace.